Hello, we are back for the semifinals at the AGE Open. Sam, how was that last round?
That last round, I wouldn't call it the most back and forth competitive match of Flesh and Blood we've ever seen in our entire life,
Hmm.
nor would I call it a slaughter. I would never do anything like that.
It seemed grindy, but also fairly one-sided. I was just peeking at the life
Yeah.
totals through the window here, and
Yeah.
I was just like, "Ooh,
Capolo had a game plan that absolutely is proven to work into those kind of decks. The cards just did not line up for him at the right times, leading to what really did, it definitely looked like Lexi was just kind of able to do whatever she wanted, but it's not, Capolo played exactly the way he should have played every one of those turns, just like Bryce had a lot of power cards. Those D-reacts were not quite coming together, so.
as they do sometimes." All right, well, for our semifinal match, we've got Dromai and
Azalea.
Azalea. I forgot. Here we go. Andrew Rudin, the Slab Daddy himself, versus Alejandro Cuevas on Azalea. Funnily enough, both these players just played a slog of a mirror on both sides. Andrew against last month's champion Zachary Wallach, and Alejandro Cuevas against former champion John Zapata. So very interesting on both sides. The Azalea mirror seemed very, it was similar. It was like very one sided. It wasn't a slaughter, but Alejandro, I think, had a pretty strong early turn, and just kind of kept that lead throughout. But it took a while to get there.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, Andrew Rudin and Zachary Wallach was just like, man, I'm watching them go, and it's just like, invoke a dragon, I attack your dragon, attack you for like one or two, and it's just like, it was just grindy. But Andrew got there in the end. I think he had some nice end of game burn them all pressure, putting on a lot of arcane damage. One turn he had three of them out there, which was pretty good.
Yeah.
So this should be an interesting matchup. I have not seen this matchup really before, so I don't even know
Yeah.
what to expect.
No, I know. Talking to Andrew in the time between the top 8 and the Swiss rounds, this was something he was really looking forward to playing today. One of the reasons he was excited to bring Dromai to the tournament, and he has not played in Azalea yet all throughout the tournament. Not in Swiss. Not he was not excited to play the mirror in his first round. He was really looking forward to try this deck. It's part of the reason why I brought it today. These tournaments are people's kind of last testing grounds of this kind of tournament level of play before the Pro Tour coming up in Baltimore. And if you're going to bring a deck that's not Azalea, you better have a plan to beat Azalea.
Yeah, that does seem to be the case over there in Richmond, although we do see a Oldham mirror in the finals there, which, yeesh. We had different results here today. The Oldhams fared very poorly.
Very
against the
poorly.
field. I think a couple of the Lexi players got in there and ruined some days. And then I think the Oldhams took out each other, and then there wasn't much left.
Can you imagine if it was Dromai on the most represented? Actually, it was Dromai and Oldham on the most represented heroes of the day, and only one of those heroes didn't convert at all, and it sure as heck wasn't Dromai.
That's right. That's right. We had two Dromais in the top 8. But like I said, they both played the mirror, so now we're down to one Azalea and one Dromai. Also on the other table, we've got Lexi. I think Bryce is having a rematch against Arya. Lexi versus Dorinthia. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see if Bryce learned his lesson about, loading his arrow on turn 0 and then taking 12 damage.
And giving a counter.
So he hasn't forgotten. So hopefully he doesn't do it again. Alejandro has a higher seed, so I assume he is taking the play. Wants to get his arsenal set up and that tunic counter going. But yeah, I'm excited. I haven't seen an Azalea really play on stream all day. Did we have one on stream yet? I forget. If we did, I wasn't here, so I missed it. So I'm excited to see this because I've heard a lot of talk. I've heard a little bit of complaining. And you know what? I'm down to clown with Azalea because she's been here trying her darndest for the longest time.
Yeah.
And now she's putting up some results.
It is somewhat like Freaky Friday to hear everybody desperately calling for Azalea to go down in power level. Like, since I joined this game, there was like all the heroes, and then there was like, it was considered the Azalea tier.
Yeah.
and now we're here, and she's one of the best, if not the best heroes right now in Flesh and Blood. Now, the thing about going first, if you're the Azalea player here, is any deck that can somehow and sometimes get evasive damage in, that's a fine deck to take on the play if you have the option, because if you're able to Azalea in an arrow, give it dominate or something like that. I think of a Bravo. I think of arcane damage users that are able to get over low AB. I mean, look at this. First turn of the game, he's going to go ahead and play Knock the Death Whistle and be able to get any arrow he wants, and it's going to be dominated, and it's going to be a red in the ledger. Because why wouldn't it be red in the ledger? That card is disgusting.
Yeah, it's always been good, but now it just seems even better with all the other pumps and hit effects that she gets, which it's always been Ranger for Ranger's kind of MO, at least Azalea, is to have these like really debilitating hit effects. Some versions of Lexi as well, but whereas Lexi's like the go wide, ruin your day, Azalea is the go tall and dominate, ruin your day.
And the thing that I've been thinking about a lot today in thinking about the tournament and thinking about Azalea is these aggressive decks in the past, any tutor-like effects can be so powerful. You think about Mask of the Pouncing Lynx and Phi and how they use it to get their lava bursts, and a card like Knock the Death Whistle that allows you to just grab any arrow. I mean, that is such a powerful effect in Flesh and Blood, and we haven't felt the effects of it because Azalea hasn't been very good.
Yeah.
But when you can just go grab your red in the ledgers at will and then codex them back in, it makes that card even stronger. The fact that you don't just have to draw it, you can just go grab it with one of your blue block 3s.
Yeah. It's really cool to see that too, because you can also just block with it. If you draw it too early and you can't play it, you can block with it. You can grab it with your codex. And I think I forgot what I was going to say there, but looks like Red and Ledger coming in for 8, Andrew Rudin blocking, and then healing up with Sigil.
And the world ended in that moment. I don't know if you noticed, but everything has fallen down around us. But no, Andrew, utilizing all of the cards in his hand as well as he can on the back of a Red in the Ledger, he blocks 3, goes ahead and eats, plays the Sigil of Solace, and then activates Flamescale Furnace because he's played a red card, making an Ash critically for the rest of the game. And then on his next turn, even though he's only able to play 1 action, he's going to go ahead and pitch 2 more reds, make 2 more Ash, and come in with a very needing to be respected Command and Conquer.
That's right. Even more so because it's a Fable one.
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely. Sometimes those ones come in for 7.
Sometimes they do.
Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
And it's like not every time, which is so weird. I at least wish it was consistent.
I mean, there's just some cases where it happens naturally. But anyways, yeah, this is the constant struggle with Ranger is, CNC ruins your life a little bit.
Yeah. Now, if you're Andrew here on Dromai, is there a single better play after Red in the Ledger than Command and Conquer? Pitching 2 reds, making 2 Ash? I'm not sure there is.
Not really. That's pretty much all he wants to do to start this game is put pressure on, make his Ash, and arsenal card for the next turn. But the on hits will just keep coming. So we'll see. I'm very interested to see how much of an effect they have on his gameplay, just because a lot of those on hits can directly impact some of Dromai's game plan. Although with the dragons and stuff, it is a little bit different. So we'll have to see.
It is so funny how you think how Azalea has been so down in the gutter for so long, but like a card like Red in the Ledger in the pits. But like Red in the Ledger just is so fundamentally strong. Death Dealer is so fundamentally strong. The fact
Death Dealer is crazy.
I mean, you get another card for a resource. I mean what?
Yeah.
But these cards that we've just accepted, we understood that they were strong, but there wasn't the pieces around them. But as soon as those pieces were put into place, like that's all just come together very, very well for the ace in the hole.
I remember what I was going to say. I was going to say it's interesting that in Arcane Rising, each one of the heroes had a super powerful tutor card in there.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't seen a lot of that since then. And
that's
probably a good
That's
thing.
very true. That's very
yeah,
true.
you know,
They tried it when they were learning, and then they were like, whoa, hold on.
like,
This is crazy.
pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah. Jason Woodland, is Andrew bored? Andrew is very tired. He told me this has been a long day. I think there's been some long matchups. He's getting a little bit of grabbing some sugar to chomp down on.
There you go. Yeah. Also, Andrew, sometimes I don't remember if you asked this earlier, Jason, about Nick, but somebody asked about Nick being a bit flustered. And I was just like, that's just kind of how Nick plays. His hands are just a little shaky. He just like, and Andrew, honestly, he's even keeled when he plays. He does not really show much emotion at all. He'll flip a card quickly if he's going to win with it. I once tried to Emeritus Scolding for game after he Tomel-tied me, and I forgot to bring in Metacarpus because I had not played it very much. And I went for the Emeritus Scolding to win the game, and he just so quickly flipped a sand cover.
Nice.
That's about as animated as I've seen him.
That's true. He is a seasoned player, very good illusionist player. Used to play a lot of Prism. Has tinkered around with other decks as well, but has come back to Dromai, which I do think he enjoys playing.
Now, on that last turn, it looks as though Alejandro was had the decision to block for 3, lose the arsenal, and then continue with the rest of his turn. He's going to go ahead and opt off of the read the glide path. I wish he would tell us what he saw, but I understand that that's challenging.
Yeah. We need that poker cam system where you can see the cards from underneath the table.
Well, yeah.
One day we'll get there. Like and subscribe to stream so that we can afford poker cam for the card table.
Go ahead and pitch that melting point to activate Death Dealer.
Ooh,
just to get it out of his hand to put it in
devil.
the pitch zone. Interesting, cool.
Codex of Frailty coming back in. He's grabbing the drill shot.
It's going to come in for 7 after the read the glide path.
Drill shot, great one here. Being able to get rid of something like Flame Scale Furnace early in the game is pretty powerful.
Pretty good, I've heard. Yeah, this card, man, Drill Shot has just been like maybe the sleeper of what's really putting all these Lexi decks together, because when equipment block is just so fundamental to, I feel like, playing a good game of Flesh and Blood is like, if you have the ability to block with equipment, if you're running a class that has that option, if you do that at the right time, I feel like it just like astronomically increases your chances of winning. And Drill Shot putting the pressure on you to or making it so that you don't have that same agency and you just sometimes are forced to block with your equipment earlier than you wish to. Like, I think it's really huge for, and you see here, Andrew is electing to use 2 D-reacts on a single card, well over blocking, because of how threatening that on-hit effect truly is for a deck that has blocking equipment that, Andrew's going to want to use on his own terms.
Yeah. I think, I was talking about this earlier on stream. I think in the Lexi matchup, it does seem kind of like a card that levels the playing field a bit for Rangers because they don't have equipment that blocks very well. So having something that puts your opponent in that same position is really powerful. Of course, when you're playing against another Ranger, it might not have the same effect, but it's definitely proving to be very good, especially on equipment with temper that is destroyed if it has 0 on it. So coming in with a dust up. I was talking to somebody earlier, and it seems I've heard people are overblocking dust up because they think a Razor Reflex is coming in, but I don't know.
Whoa.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure Andrew does not have any.
Definitively does not play Razor Reflex in this list.
I don't know a lot of people who are. There might be a more aggressive Dromai list going around that people do, but yeah, it's something someone told me. They said multiple times they got blocked for 7 on a dust up, and I was like, that's funny. That's odd. So Lace with Blood Rot, I believe, is being played.
Went ahead and opted whatever he saw to the bottom. So if he wishes to go ahead and Death Dealer. Now, my question is this his 3rd turn? It is, right?
Yes, I think he might have missed his.
Yeah, we missed 1 trigger on that Tunic, which, because I was looking at a turn like this, like tunicking in a card on the Death Dealer can be so powerful, but this is just going to be remorseless. It's going to draw him a card.
So yeah, that's rough. You hate to see that in a top 8 match, but that's the kind
everybody
of thing.
does it. Everybody does it.
It's a long day. Play 8 games of Flesh and Blood, and your brain gets a little melty. My brain was melted after that last Kano game.
So we're coming in for 8 here, representing 2 different on-hit triggers. 1, the Remorseless tech, so every action card played from hand I believe it's every action. I don't know if it's every action or every attack action, but every
I
action
think
played.
every action, yeah.
Yeah, played from hand is going to drain another life from Andrew here, and then the late Blood Rot also creates a Blood Rot Pox token. So 2 cards left in hand, potentially threatening something like a rain. Oh, no, wow, 3 cards left in hand. My God.
Nice.
But we're going to see how Andrew wishes to block this. He hasn't established much in the way of dragons, but that 1 Aether Ashwing, I know Andrew feels like he can get so much value off of a single Aether Ashwing. But the Snapdragon Scalers are going to be cashed in here. He's going to go ahead and take the 8.
Nice.
Getting a Blood Rot Pox, so Andrew must have something pretty good on his next turn. And I think I did see a Dominia head to that arsenal, so that might be part of what he's thinking for his next turn.
Yeah, that would be pretty good. Taking that 8, breaking his Bullseye Bracers as well as the Snapdragons. So he's going to reload and get +1, handing him over that Blood Rot Pox token. And the Remorseless as a reminder. Very nice guy right there. Just to make sure he knows what's coming on his next turn.
Looks like they're checking the judge about something here. Talking to Evan, our head judge. Confirming something. Perhaps the Blood Rot Pox token was missed.
Interesting. Not sure what happened there. We're going to get some clarification on that. It looks like a Seek and Destroy coming out. His turn just keeps getting better. I understand why he's pushing this.
Yeah, this is going to be Seek and Destroy on the Bolton shot, so it's going to have go again and a reload on hit. And
+1 from the Bullseye Bracer.
Yep. And an inertia-like effect of no arsenal, no cards left in hand at the end of the turn. So is this going to finally take some blocking from Andrew?
Would be great, too, if Alejandro would use our power die.
Ah, yes. Thank you to Fabric in the check, because he had already used the gloves at that point.
Oh.
We had missed the trigger.
So he doesn't get the Blood Rot Pox because of that?
Mm-hmm. Because he moved on, he made another action.
That's weak. Alejandro showing some tiredness, missing his Tuna trigger and the Blood Rot Pox trigger. I would assume that just happens whether or not you hand them the card, but that's how it goes. Dominia, you were correct, Sam, comes out to play. Gonna come in for 4, reveal a card, and then probably banish something from Alejandro's hand. That's a beautiful card, and it is a red, so let's see what's in his hand. This is fun for everybody. We all get to see what's in Alejandro's hand.
Got an Enlightened Strike, Bolton Shot, a Premeditate, and a Spire Sniping, and that Tunic is going to be going to 3 on this turn. So here's the thing. He has 2 different ways to get go again here. Because I'm thinking if you want to get rid of a way for him to cleanly take care of the Dominion, maybe you take the Enlightened Strike, but no, he's just going to go ahead and grab the Premeditate.
I think Premeditate's really strong.
It is, yeah, it's so strong.
I think he's less worried about his dragon. If Alejandro has to spend half his turn, trying to kill this dragon, that's good value. Because he also gets this powerful card that will buff what's in his arsenal already. That's I learned that today. I kept thinking Premeditate was like Plunder Run, where you had to play it from arsenal, but it's
just the attack,
action. So that's just good for Rangers.
All right, going to go ahead and draw back up here. Opting is the first thing Alejandro's going to do at the beginning of his turn. It's 28-29, both heroes relatively close in life. Andrew has a couple dragons established, and I talked to him a little bit about how he likes to play, or how he thinks, I'm sure he's played the matchup before today, but when, talking about how he was planning to do it in the Azalea matchup today, like, you can just naturally accrue damage and tempo by just getting a dragon out every now and then, and you're going to chip damage in just kind of because that's how the game goes. But this is going to be an Azalea activation, bringing in a Seek and Destroy. So we're getting the Remorseless out of there. We're getting a Seek and Destroy in.
All right, so
Seek and Destroy being played here, going to buff his next arrow attack by 3. He does have the Tunic to get the Death Dealer activation off if he wants to put an arrow in and draw a card.
Yeah, I'm getting distracted by the chat because it is interesting distinction between remorseless hit effect and the blood rot pox. But the remorseless is something that just happens, and it's up to you to remind your opponent and make sure that when they do attack, they will get, or when they do actions, they'll take damage. But the I guess the blood rot pox trigger is something
It's like a
different.
frostbite.
Yeah,
You can
it happens when it happens, and if you miss that, you've missed it, which is good to know, but unfortunate.
and in a competitive level event like this, like there's an expectation that you play to the highest standard of the game. If I understand the impulse on both sides there, but this is going to be a Bolton shot coming in after the Seek and Destroy, so this will be coming in for at least 7. And it is 7.
Exactly 7.
With the Seek and Destroy on hit. Now, he does have the option of using something like a Crown if he wants to get block value right away from it, or attempt to keep him off of the potential reload. Looks like he's still working with 2 cards. We do know one of them is an Enlighten Strike.
Mm-hmm.
And that can just go ahead and clean up the Dominia if he wishes it to at the end of this turn.
Yeah, I would feel like he needs to do that. Because just letting him banish a card from you for free every turn is not great. All right, E-Strike. Yep, taking out the Dominia. And
He's likely going to choose just to draw a card here to plop in the arsenal.
there we go.
So Seek and Destroy is online, so Andrew's expecting to use all the cards that he has in his hand this turn. He's been able to accrue a number of ash. He's up to 4. So we'll see how he's wanting to use this turn. Going to first come in with a Kyloria, then a Miragai.
Boom.
So we've begun to establish some dragons here. All of a sudden,
Yeah, this is a pretty big swing right now. He's coming in, no Phantasm probably on the Kyloria, and
drawing a card
drawing
on the
a
hit.
card on hit. So Alejandro might be getting a little nervous. I'm not sure what his game plan is, like if he wants to spend time getting rid of dragons or if he goes for the throat. But in my experience, you tend to have to deal with the dragons.
Alejandro just going to have to take 4 here, and that's going to allow Andrew to draw a card. I can see he's at least got a Miraging Metamorph in his hand, which is going to represent another 7 damage at the end of this whole turn if he wishes to throw everything in. He's going to go ahead and throw the Aether Ashwing first in case there is something like a Battering Bolt, and Alejandro wishes to pop. And electing to save the Miragai for later. He's not throwing it in just in case a popper is in the hand. He's just going to go ahead and throw this 7 damage in. And you have to imagine he's going to either pitch to his flame scale if he wants. I think he drew a blue because of the Seek and Destroy effect. But this is going to be 7 more, and he's now got 3 dragons to work with. Yeah, he is going to just go ahead and pitch the flame scale just to get out of his hand. Yeah. But now at this point, you have to respect the inevitability of the dominate effect on Azalea. But Andrew has now established 3 dragons. Yeah. He's able to block. He's got sand covers. We know he has D-Reacts in the deck. He's able to block much more kind of, without thinking as hard about what do I want to develop. He's now developed. Mm-hmm. So any arrows that are thrown at these dragons, that's life he's gaining. That's life he's not being pressured on. So you can see if these 3 dragons are going to be enough to just like slowly chip away at Alejandro's life total, or if that dominate ability on her text box is going to be enough to close the game out.
Yeah, it's interesting that he hasn't had many big dominate turns. I think in the last round, every time I looked over, he seemed to be doing some kind of nasty, large attack. But all of these have seemed pretty... It's actually been going pretty wide, to be honest.
Yeah, with these Bolton shots. Yeah. The thing that we've only seen the 1 red in the ledger. We haven't seen any other Nux or codexes to grab that. We saw 1 codex, but it grabbed a drill shot.
Yeah.
It didn't grab the red in the ledger, so... Yeah.
I did hear him talking with John Zapata after their game. He does like the yellow sniping.
Spire sniping?
Spire sniping, because he was saying it allows him to find, his red in the ledgers faster.
It's about to be a big ol' arrow, whatever it is.
Yeah, just right when I said that. Oh, that's what you like to see. Just when I said he wasn't going that tall, he goes really tall. So I don't even know what this is coming in for. It's not like 3, 6, 9. This is coming in for like 13.
3, 6, 9. Yep, 13 damage.
13 dominate with all manner of hit effects.
It's gonna take. I think he paid to give it an aim counter, so it's gonna take a card out of his hand on hit. It's gonna do a -1 on the equipment on hit. So he is just gonna go ahead and give the crown here because he has no other way to stop that -1 counter from affecting the crown. 14.
Oh, 14. Nice.
Oh, melting point might give an +1 if it's in another aim. Oh, it's a 1 for 4, I think. Melting point's a 1 for 4.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yep. And then, yeah, representing the aim counter on there as well.
Just a big old Azalea attack here. That's right. Casual 14. This is what people have been talking about. This is why they're upset.
This is why they're mad.
Who said this strong woman from the pits could do 14 damage so easily?
And the question is Andrew going to be able to find a D-react for his arsenal anytime soon to protect him against a further turn? Because he wants to establish some pressure. He might hopefully he's able to use his Kyloria. He does have a D-react here. He's going to go ahead and opt. I think that's a sink below, so yeah, he's going to leave that right on top. Hopefully draw it off the Kyloria if he can, put that right into his arsenal. So this is blocking for 6. He's going to take 8, go down to 14.
Yeah, I feel like it's not that bad of a position for him. He's got these 3 dragons. He's got more dragons in hand. If Alejandro does not pull a popper, which I don't even know how many he's got in his deck.
Most of them are just running battering bolts if they're running them at all.
Yeah, for sure. I haven't seen any so far. So, but he is going to be able to look at his hand.
Oh, and take a card with the
what is
Deadeye effect.
Is that Deadeye?
Yeah, Deadeye. If the arrow has an aim counter, when it hits, they discard a card. I didn't know you get to pick though.
Nice.
Oh, and drill shot. Yeah, if you get an
look at their hand and choose a card, they discard it. Nice.
Yeah, and the drill shot here, if it has an aim counter, it gets piercing.
Ooh.
Which it did.
Ooh. This is great. You love to see it. Yeah, that's pretty good.
So now, no matter what, Andrew's going to be able to continue his turn, because even if they take the Yenderai here, that dust up, you're most likely just going to activate your Snapdragon Scalers and then come in with the rest of your dragons. So there's no way for Alejandro here to just stop the dragons on the next turn. So he's at the choice now of does he want to get rid of the dust up, or does he want to try to get rid of the dragon?
Yeah.
And for my money, might be the dragon.
Yeah, I feel like the dragon presents more of a long-term problem.
The dust up though does threaten an Aether Ashwing as well.
That is true.
Which is annoying.
Yeah.
You never like throwing an arrow at an Aether Ashwing.
Yeah, because Andrew has enough. He doesn't have to worry about his ash production currently, but he. Oh yeah, no, he took the Yenderai, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I took the Yenderai.
So he won't be able to make any other ash, but it should be ash neutral when he plays dust up and then does the Snapdragon, I would imagine. And then I think the melting point added the additional -1 defense to the flame scale furnace. So
just the drill shot.
That's right. The drill shot. Yeah. What is the melting point?
Melting point will destroy a one-handed weapon with attack 1. I think.
That's why there's a
sword.
There's a Kodachi.
So yeah, it's gonna be the dust up. We got to imagine it's gonna be followed by the Snapdragon Scalers, and then there's 2, 4, 5 damage, 6 with another Aether Ashwing, plus threatening the draw card off of the Kyloria. I'm pretty sure we saw it was a sink blow on top.
Yeah, it looked like a sink below.
And I think we saw that other card in Andrew's hand is just a blue dragon, or not a dragon, but like one of those Phantasm 6 attacks.
Yeah, I think it is. Oh god, what's that one called? I'm blanking on the name
like
now.
Enigma Chimera, one of those types of, or
I think it's
Endermaw, Sendermaw.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Sendermaw,
Enderpie,
something like that. You know the one. It's got a sand dragon on it.
Oh, and he's gonna go ahead and elect to block the Kyloria out here.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one that actually threatens something because I mean, he doesn't know it's just a defense reaction, which honestly, it's a really great block because a defense reaction could definitely ruin his next turn here.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So it's Alejandro here, not able to know what that top card is. We know how good it would be for Andrew, right, if he's able to draw it and plop it in the arsenal. But it turns out it was a very prescient play there to stop that draw because it's gonna be a little tough to get that blue 6 attack, the Enderma Senpai Emberma, out of the arsenal here. And you'd want to get it out of the arsenal if you're going to attempt to get that sync blow in. But it looks like it now. Look what that dragon was able to do. Like, as the two players share a laugh, they threw. I think was that a rabble? Yeah, rabble into the Kyloria, cleared that out of the way. That's 4 life that dragon just gained you because you had to attack the dragon instead. Now, how is Andrew able to capitalize on keeping a 5-card hand here?
I mean, he's got a Miraging Metamorph, so I think that's a pretty good start.
It's a pretty good start. But do we have another red card?
He's got an Enlightened Strike, I think. So, but he's like, you know what? Kyloria
you know
was
what?
pretty good.
That was good last time. Let's see if it's good again. He's going to start off with that without Phantasm.
So 4, asking again, do you want me to draw a card?
And we do. I see an E-Strike in the hand as well as that Miraging Metamorph. So how does he... This is going to be a lot of damage being thrown out here. Andrew, I know he was talking about, naturally this game lends itself to a more defensive game plan if you're on the Dromai side and you just accrue dragons slowly. But he took some big hits to establish the Dominia and then to establish these 3 dragons. It seemed like he saw the cards in his hand present himself in such a way that he was able to eat a bunch of damage but then resolve either one big dragon or multiple of these dragons that Azalea does have a hard time dealing with. If you can't get the red and the ledgers off consistently on the turns when these dragons have been established, we're seeing what can happen. We're seeing why people believe in Dromai.
Yeah.
This is what the thought process is, right? But it's like, where are the results? Perhaps we're seeing one of those first results right here.
Yeah, I mean, I think the turns where he took the hits, he saw that the dragons he had were not, just damage. They were tempo stealing, things that demanded a response from Alejandro. So, those the Dominia and having the Miragai and Kyloria back to back is a very good start to, dealing with that. So, and it looks like he's blocking with his Cross Wrap Supreme there. So yeah, again, I mean, Kyloria is
Cross Wrap Supreme. I just got that. I just let that pass right through my ears.
Obviously, you don't go to Taco Bell.
I do go to Taco Bell.
Kyloria is always the one that is. I feel like it's just the most threatening. The chance for them to either put out another dragon, which in my case always seems to be another Kyloria or something else that's going to just ruin my day. It demands a block. It demands to be respected. So Enlightened Strike coming in here. I would guess for 7.
This is most likely going to be for 7. Yeah, I mean, you could throw the Miraging, but if he has a popper, technically that's a 1-card block. So this is just going to be for 7. We know it's that Sendermon Nenepai in the arsenal, so that's going to be tough to get out of there. So right now we're playing off the 4 cards that we're going to be drawn. But this is a lethal attack, and we've still got, if we're the Dromai here, we've got a Kyloria, we've got a Miraga, and we've got 2 Aether Ashwings. So that dust up, it's gotten at least 3 more damage, 2 or 3 more damage out of that Aether Ashwing it created.
Yeah.
It's a good card.
Yeah, it's pretty good. This is going to make Alejandro's turn a little bit worse. He's still got 3 cards in hand, but just without being able to drop like those 2 or 3 pumps that take these arrows into like, the
stratosphere.
Teens, it becomes much harder for her. I mean, that's where Azalea used to be, and it's like not as good for the most part. So yeah, I mean, it's been interesting to see so far. I don't think this is one of the great matchups for Azalea. I think not being able to go wide, you can't really deal with the dragons, so it becomes a thing where either you have to put enough pressure on them that they can't do anything, or you have to do enough hit effects that they can't do anything, or else I think if they just play smart, if they play defensively, they get their dragons out, they eke their value out over that time, and it becomes just harder and harder to deal with.
Yep.
Ooh. Going down to 1. These two blocks. I think, right? He blocks 2.
The laces are 2? That makes sense.
I think so. I think the pumps are usually 2.
Dory's in the finals? Dory's in the finals, you guys.
Olympia is in the finals.
That's pretty exciting.
Unfortunately, we won't be able to stream that. I'm just kidding.
So we're loading in Aspire Sniping here. This is going to allow... Oh, this is the drop first. I was like, don't put it in your hand, brother. All right, so the Spire Sniping, the Spire Sniping is going to look at the top 2 cards. It's able to, you can't opt them away here, but you can put that second card on the top if it's an arrow that you want to Azalea in. Now, we're looking for something like a Red in the Ledger to stop these dragons from being devastating. But because with Andrew at 13, it's hard for me to see how you can get, with 2 cards left in your hand, up an arrow up so high that it's just game over from here. And if you can't take either every card out, or do something like a Red in the Ledger, or like a Remorseless, 1 red card is going to allow for the rest of this turn to continue much easier for Andrew than it would for Alejandro off of just 1 card.
So Bolton Shot coming in, really I wonder if he sides in more Bolton Shots for this matchup to help deal with the dragons, but it looks like he's sending it straight at Andrew Rudin. Of course, this is buffed by Rain Razors, so it will have go again and the reload on hit. He's also not totally concerned yet.
There is, I think, there's a red Sigil of Solace, so that's 1 card you can keep. You can gain 3 life, and then you can just go on with your life with all these dragons. With Alejandro at 1 here, I'm trying to, so he was at 7. And he blocks with 1. He was at 6. Oh, that's why.
Right.
At 6.
He was at 6.
I thought he was 7.
Too.
Oh, yeah, he was at 6. That's what happened. I'm understanding now.
I got there. I think I'm right.
You are you are in fact correct. Going ahead, and he's going to activate his Silken form or use his Silken form to block 1 extra point of damage here. So he's blocking for 4, and then probably at the end of this turn going to make an Aether Ashwing as well. Yep. This is going to create a Bloodrot Pox token, which he remembers this time. This is now for the rest of this turn online. So if that was a blue that he pitched, which I can't quite tell.
It was, I can't tell you. Looks like a rake, but I don't know what color. I don't.
Rake is only red, right? Yeah.
I mean, I think it has blues, but do you play it? I don't know.
Oh, does it?
I think so. I think.
Oh, you might be right.
Cycle,
yeah. Wow. I really thought it was just red.
You just only ever seen it in red.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
We're going to play Burn Them All. That's going to turn go again on for the rest of this turn. We have a Sigil of Solace.
He's got no arcane barrier, so.
Oh, yeah. That's 1 Burn Them All damage on the stack.
I think that is it, unless he's got some kind of prevention, which I wouldn't think he has in this deck. So. Because he broke the bullseye.
That's going to do it. Just he's telling, just like making sure there's no way for me to do anything there, and that's going to be the game.
Yeah, good game.
Andrew Rudin taking the victory there. Yeah, there's that Cinder Mob Lenapai that is just could never go anywhere.
The Glandy Rag Junderper.
Yep.
So there it is, folks. We've got a Dromai and a Dorinthia. I was going to say the double D matchup. Maybe that's
maybe not.
I said it anyways. Yeah, I'm excited. This should be a good match. I think, there was a lot of talk early on when Dromai came out how hard this matchup is for Dromai. I think Andrew Rudin is a skilled Dromai player.
I was talking to him a little bit about it. I think he's relatively confident into the matchup. But Arya is no
Arya's
slouch.
Been on a bit of a tear today.
Arya is a master of that hero. I just love watching her play that deck. Every time I come to an event, I just find myself at her table.
Yeah.
Actually, at one of our locals a couple months ago, I remember watching her into the Iris deck. And it was Andrew. Yeah. Andrew was on Iris, and she was on Dorinthia, and I think Andrew took it, but it was just a weird game. That Iris deck is weird.
That's a weird deck. All right, so we got our updated top 8, and here we are. Arya Howe on Dorinthia, Andrew Rudin on Dromai. Very exciting. A very interesting top 8 over here. I'm curious how this might have played out if the Dromais and Azaleas weren't playing against each other.
Yeah, weren't in mirrors, totally.
I think that very much skewed how this all went down. I know that Zachary and Andrew were both looking around going like, yeah, I think if I win this game, I can win this whole thing.
Yeah.
They were feeling pretty confident about that. So we'll see how that goes coming up here at the finals. Sam, it was a pleasure as always.
Pleasure's all mine, sir.
Good game. And we'll be back in a few minutes for our finals at the AGE Open. Be right back.